Welcome to Reality Hunt Club. In this webisode, we're going to go over our spraying results. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be joined by Chuck Campbell over Skype. We're actually going to watch some of the video that he shot and discuss the results and some of the mistakes we made. Now, Chuck's responsible for all things planting, anything tractoring on the hunting club, he's responsible for. He does a great job. Now, we sprayed these fields back in June 16th and 17th. And we're going to go over this first spraying. And so let's bring Chuck in and begin this video. Thanks, Chuck, for joining me today on this video. Now let's watch the video.
In this video here, we're looking at the end of 10 days after our first spraying. And you can see that the field has some spotty results. Certain things in the field died, certain things didn't. And so we're going to take a look at some of the results close up. We got a little deer tracks coming in, getting them a little bit of soybeans. Hasn't rained much since our spraying, so you can still see some tractor tracks. But here are some weeds that the Roundup just didn't have any effect on. And here is what I call carpet grass, and it's completely dead. And so we had different results. Now over here to the right on the edge of this field, you'll see what would have happened if we had not sprayed. So the results of the field being spotty is one thing, but if we hadn't sprayed, we would have lost this field completely. And here I'm going to give you a view of, where we harrowed and didn't spray along that edge and in that corner, and then the field that we did spray. Now I'm moving the camera around. I'm going to show we've got some grass in here that is still green and some grass in here that's kind of turned a little bit brown. Couple of different type of grasses, and then here is some nut grass. At least that's what I call it. And the nut grass seems to be nearly unaffected by the Roundup, and it is got some brown edges and a little bit of discoloration, but not enough to kill the plant. And what I think has happened is it may have stunted the growth, but did not kill the plant. And so I'm going to zoom in on some of the parts of the field where the nut grass is thickest. And you can see there's a spot out there of yellowing, and that's a mixture of grasses. And the darker green areas are the nut grass. So I'm going to walk over here, and we're going to look at a different plant. This is a weed that the Roundup did not kill. And as we zoom in here, what I'm zooming in on is actually, this is a preferred plant by the deer. The deer are actually eating this just like they would the soybeans. So we've got actually some good weeds embedded in there that the Roundup didn't kill. But it's still a plant that's going to try and compete with the soybean for moisture and nutrition. Now I'm walking around. There's a different grass right there. It's not a nut grass, but it's a tall type of a grass that the Roundup did not affect. And just trying to find different plants. Here's a field on the big power line in front of the stand number 20, and again you can see the before and after, what it looked like. And the spray had our best results on this field in terms of killing back what natural vegetation were there. And as I zoom in here, I'm zooming in on a spot in the field that I missed with the spray.
Wow.
I either got off a row or two of the rows are far enough apart that the spray didn't affect it. Here's some more carpet grass.
It was bad right there. Remember?
Yeah, it seemed to be most of this field was carpet grass and not so much weeds. I'm showing a few weeds here, but most of this field was carpet grass and some bahia.
All right.
And so along this edge on this right-hand side, just outside the field, is more of that grass that's died. And this area right here is typically heavy grass. If we hadn't sprayed, it probably would be knee-deep. I'm showing now the health of the plants. These are taking a pretty good, even though we got the fence up, taking a pretty good beating by some of the deer. So now we move to stand number 34. Stand number 34 had the most nut grass of any of the stands that we have. And kind of just showing how thick that grass is, but it has some of the best moisture and nutrients. Some of the best soybean plants that we've got in any of the fields are right here on 34, and just kind of showing how thick the foliage is compared to some of the other fields. The nut grass itself here took a little bit more of a pounding from the spray, and you can see some more of the yellowing and some of the dried leaves and discoloration, and you can see how much more the soybeans are benefiting from not having to compete so hard against these grasses and weeds in this field. So just kind of zooming in and out on the discoloration of the nut grass here.
Now make sure you point out that these areas have never been sprayed before that we know of. So this is the first time these weeds and grasses have ever been popped with Roundup. So, and potential going forward that we could switch back and forth between Roundup Ready soybeans and Ignite Ready soybeans. Ignite Ready soybeans are just grown to withstand a different type of this herbicide. Now this is one area that, this is Reality Hunt Club. What you see is what you get. This is one area that we are learning. Last year we planted these areas and we lost it to deer pressure and we lost it to weeds. Well, this year we decided that we weren't going to let that happen. We were going to tackle it. We got a sprayer and we've spent money on spray. We talked to a lot of farmers and agricultural guys, and we're not farmers, but we're learning this. And I just told Chuck before we started this video, I've never seen anybody talk about weed control in their food plots on YouTube or on TV. So
this field right here, this is a field we call DeWitt field, and this field didn't have grass problems. This one has coffee bean problems. Yeah. And you can see right here, I zoomed in, zooming out on an area that I totally missed with spraying. This field, I ran out of spray about halfway through, and to the right was my first batch of chemicals, and to the left was my second batch of chemicals. And after seeing the results, I think that I had a problem with the second batch of chemicals, and that problem wasn't with the chemicals so much as with the commercial sprayer. There's a thing on there called an agitator, and when you engage the PTO, the agitator simply agitates all the liquid and stirs it up and gets a balanced spray. So as you spray the field, you're not losing all your poison right out immediately. The poison's heavier than water, and it'll sink to the bottom. If you don't agitate it, you'll have unproportionalized spray in that tank, and I think that's probably what had happened. This here's in the afternoon, I sat there to see what animals might come out, and this is a picture of a hen that came out and decided to get a little bite to eat in the afternoon in one of our feed plots.
She wasn't too scared of you, was she?
Nope.
Well, the video is about over. So Chuck and I talked about it, and because of this application, what do you say? How much effectiveness you would think it is? 50%?
I thought on some of the weeds it was higher, maybe like 60-80%, but on the grass it was more like 40 to 50%.
When you did the power line, I wish you would have zoomed over a little bit more with the camera right on the other side of the fence, because that stuff is way above the knees, and that Roundup really, what kind of grass was that? You know what I'm talking about? On the
it was coffee bean, different type of grasses, but mostly coffee bean that was like waist high.
I mean, we were over there weed eating, trying to get the fence to not ground out, and when you popped that with that Roundup, it just went to nothing.
That was I think that was Bahia grass around electric fence areas. Yep.
So we're going to actually do another application, and we talked to another farmer. Do you want to talk about the ammonia sulfate added to it?
We're going to, at this point, we decided to spray again. And so we'll have a follow-up video of our second attempt to spray. Contacted local farm supply and told him what results we had. He recommended rolling over the field again with some more poison, but this time to spice it up with a thing called ammonium sulfate. It's a fertilizer. They have some brand name products that are basically, you know, just different companies that sell it, but it's just it's a chemical called ammonium sulfate, and you add it to the Roundup. And if you read the Roundup instructions, you'll see that there's room in there for that in the instructions from Roundup. And basically what it does is it helps the Roundup adhere to the finer leaves of some of these plants. So some of the broadleaf plants were the ones that took the most and died the fastest, and some of the smaller leaf plants like the nutgrass, who has thin blades, were able to survive the first spraying. So the ammonium sulfate is going to help the Roundup stick to this grass and weeds, and we'll see what the results of that look like.
Now this is some good video. We actually, some of the before and after shots lined up. That was we got kind of lucky on that. Now, so far this year, I'd say the mistakes we've made, which we're not blaming each other or anything like that, but the stuff that we learned that we're going to take forward to next year, and the things that we want to portray to anybody watching this video, was we waited too long to spray the first time, so that didn't help us out. So some of those weeds were more mature and more aggressive, and that might have been another reason why the Roundup wasn't as effective on them. You know,
definitely was a factor.
The 20 days versus what we should have done was the 10 days.
Yep, we didn't know how soon after the plants emerged that we could spray, and what we found out is that you want to spray within the first 10 days of the plant's emergence, usually between day 3 and 10. And we ended up actually spraying on day 14. So we kind of missed our window, and the plants, we were getting a lot of rain right before we sprayed. The plants were maturing very quickly because of the amount of rain we were getting.
Yeah.
So I think that the size and density of the plants really hurt us on that first spray.
Yeah. And the other thing was just figuring out the sprayer. We've had this sprayer a couple years, and this is the most you've sprayed any area. And the agitator, you move some of the heads around. We could spend an episode on talking about how to calibrate them. That might
the adjustments we made have been from trial and error, and we're starting to learn more about our sprayer from accidents. And I say accidents like we forget to cut the spray nozzle on or off, or you know, chemicals will get spilled, what have you, like that. No, you know, major accident, nobody got hurt or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's chemicals, they're expensive. You don't like to lose the chemicals. You hate to spray a 3-acre field and now you have to respray it because you messed up. So we're learning some tricks and techniques.
Yeah, speaking of costs, we spray approximately 18 to 20 acres, and you're looking at $75 to $100 plus diesel costs, right? And about what we average. So it is, you know, it could cost, but then again, what it costs to plant 18 or 20 acres of soybeans is worth it. And I'm real happy with our results. Now, you always can look back and say, I could have done this better and doing this better and doing that better. But compared to last year, we're 10 times better than where we are this year. So I am so happy. If we can just get some rain, and we're going to show another video, hopefully the beans will come on up and bush out. So
for those that are interested, I encourage you to look back at the beginning of this video and see the before picture of that first field, and realize in the after photo I show this section off to the right, and I was like, that's what our field would have looked like if we hadn't sprayed.
Yes.
We would have lost those soybeans.
That's what it looked like last year. Now, another thing that was interesting, the previous video, we were up there saying we've lost 30, 35, 40% of our soybeans due to deer pressure. Well, one thing that I looked at was that those beans are actually coming back, and because they didn't eat them at the stunt, at the root, they just ate the leaves off. So we're gonna have a real good crop if we can get some rain, get them on up. So I'm excited. So, and I want to tell you, Chuck, you did a great job on the spraying, and of course it was my expertise to help you mix all them chemicals together and to drive around and watch you on the hot tractor. But
it didn't help Margie's yard much when we forgot to cut the switch off.
Yeah, we accidentally sprayed one of our landowner's yard, and she wasn't too happy. Of course, he blamed me, so that worked out good.
It's all his fault.
So we're gonna come back and show you Chuck's actually going up, and we're gonna video some more. Hopefully, we got a lot more percentage of those weeds and nut grasses. I don't expect to get 100%. You never can do that. But the main part is you can look down and you see stuff dying, and you can see the soybeans coming up, and they're green and they're in the rows. And that 2-row planter did great, and I'm excited, looking forward to it. So anything else you want to add?
We'll have the results from that second spraying. I don't know in what video. You may have another episode between now and then, but certainly look forward to what happened by adding ammonium sulfate and going over the field the second time. So
hopefully we'll have some good video. Maybe I'll lay before the first spraying and the second spraying. Maybe I can try to get all three on one screen, and we can see how effective it is.
Yeah, the differences.
Yeah, so I want to thank Chuck for helping me out with the video and doing all the shooting. And we're going to do a little bit more of this. I think this adding two heads, two minds to what we're trying to do helps me out, and it helps the viewers out. So thanks for watching Reality Hunt Club, and stay tuned for more episodes.